1977. And at that time, we were a very small organization. We had our offices, shared some offices with Douglas County Special Services over on about 90th and Maple. And at that time, we were primarily a soil and water conservation-oriented government agency. Since then, we have grown a lot. Probably the most critical, highest priority issue for us, because we're headquartered in the Omaha metropolitan area, is flood control for Omaha, for the Papillion Creek watershed. And I think that's one of the things that shows up on this map that's in the brochure, is the fact that when it rains pretty much anywhere in Sarpy, Douglas, and large parts of Washington County, all of that runoff goes into the Papillion Creek system. So we run into what I like to simplify is just the upstream downstream issue. The people downstream are the ones who are flooded. The controls that prevent the flooding are upstream. So the people who live upstream own the land where the controls are to protect people downstream. And so that you can see where there's a bit of a conflict there. I guess to answer some of these questions that you're talking about, why is it important that the NRD get timely news, either from a newspaper or a radio or a TV station? NRDs are governed by an elected board of directors, and we have a general manager who works for those 11 people. And all of those 11 people have very different viewpoints on what the NRD should be about. Whenever, the way I like to perceive it is that if there is a story that comes out in the World Herald in the morning, and my boss about the NRD, and it's either positive or negative, and one of those board members reads the story and he calls our NRD general manager and says, "What did you think of the story?" And he has to say, "Well, I haven't read it yet." You know, that makes him look bad. Okay, so I think it's my job as a public relations person to make him look good. So if I can get the stories from you guys on his email, and he has a chance to read those stories before one of his elected officials calls him, he looks better. And then he appreciates what I do, and then I look better, which is really the bottom line. After that, then I open up my email. And normally there is a couple of emails from Universal showing me the print media that came out and the electronic media, and I can quickly scan that and say, okay, this is what, if there's an issue, I can deal with it right away. I can let that general manager know. If he needs to let our board members know, he can. So I love email. And so when I get something email, I can also send it out email. So I can send him these clips so he can read them himself. I can summarize them and then send him an email, or I can send him. One of the things that we're getting now, which I really like, are these, and I'll use the wrong terminology so you can correct me if you want. We get these TV clips, and I can look at a TV clip from KMTV the other night, or let's just say they did something last night. I don't watch KMTV that much. They can have a story on, I won't see it. But I can get it in the morning and preview it, and then if John, our general manager, needs to see it, I can get it to him within minutes, and that's really critical. And it's so easy to receive things via email and send them out to the people who need to know via email.